So what does it mean to be a raging Cajun? Southwest Louisiana, wreck your face, man. Still don't get it in, I'ma let you know. All you gotta do is come and join the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the highest tier pod of your weekly unfiltered wrestling. Welcome to the Worldly Podcast, presented by ATB Network, powered by StreamYard, and sponsored by our great friends at 80s Tees and Wrestle Champs. It's the hostly trio. I'm Marcus, it's Dylan, and that's Jordan. Follow us on social media right below your screen. Dylan is at DylanAber_, Jordan at JordanJ20_. I'm at Marcus Elite 337, and the podcast is at World Elite Pod, all on Twitter, plus on Facebook and Instagram as well. Happy Labor Day to all the hard-working men and women out there that are enjoying their day off and come and hang out with us for a bit. Dylan snuck in a bar, I see, but how are we doing today, guys?
I'm doing good, man. How you doing?
Do you really want to ask that right now?
No, I don't.
Well, be sure to check us out this Thursday, our Week 1 episode of ATB Saints. What is up, Justin? Shout out to the End Time Wrestling Podcast. If you want to know how I'm really feeling, tune in Thursday on our Week 1 edition of ATB Saints when we cover our Week 1 game with the Atlanta Falcons, and you're going to hear a little more shit talking from Dylan and I on a particular game last night. We're not allowed to talk about that today because I feel like that will take the whole stream up. But we're here to talk about the end of the summer of wrestling and the fallout of a great weekend of wrestling with Clash at the Castle, Worlds Collide, and All Out that happened all this past weekend. Just caught up with Clash and All Out today. Worlds Collide, I haven't yet watched it, but I will watch it eventually, probably after Raw, or I'm going to watch it probably tomorrow. And other than that, but I said I had some interesting shit to tell you guys that happened yesterday, so who's ready for story time with Marcus? Hey, baby.
Hey, man, floor is yours. Go ahead.
Of course, bro. I'm tired of shit. I've been up for 17 hours yesterday, you know. Terrible rest. Like Dylan, the king of recording from a new location. Have a great show. Yeah. He's known for his backgrounds now.
Yeah.
So when I got up at 7:30 on a Sunday because I was going to New Orleans for the game, and I knew if I had to get there early so I could beat all sorts of traffic and whatnot. So I didn't get to New Orleans till about close to 12:30. You know, I went to Mass at 8. I stopped at McDonald's. Well, I had to get a cup of coffee for the road, and then I stopped at McDonald's. By the way, shout out to McDonald's. They always got the best breakfast no matter what. I'm usually the sausage, egg, and cheese McGriddle guy with a caramel frappe and a sausage, egg, and cheese biscuit. That's usually my thing if I'm on the go. If I'm going to be able to enjoy myself from McDonald's, I get the big breakfast with hotcakes. That's what I usually get.
Same here.
I can't do breakfast burritos from McDonald's. I can take them from Burger King or Sonic if you want to talk about breakfast burritos. I stopped only one time because when you're in your 30s, you got a weak bladder. I made it all the way to Gonzaga. Piss break. Got back on about 40 minutes later. I ended up in New Orleans. Didn't even drink nothing else and had to piss again. And usually when I go to New Orleans for shit like this, I'll go park in that big parking opening right across the street from Walk-Ons. But that was all banned off because they had tents set up for all the businesses and sponsors that they usually have tailgating for big games like this. So I spent about $40 to park in a parking garage right next to the Smooth King Center. So that's where I parked. That's where it stayed. But I mean, $40 for the whole night, which where I usually park, it's like $15 for like 9 hours. Which you can't go wrong with that. Well, a couple things happened that's interesting. I like to share that could be funny. Now, when it comes to tailgating, you know, LSU's always the king of tailgating. And in a place like New Orleans, I think it's like we're the pros. First off, when we got there were so many fucking people in the city. Not just LSU fans, Florida State fans. It felt like a bowl game or it felt like the college football playoffs. Yo, what is up, Tim? How was All Out last night? Which we're going to share our thoughts later on. Did you have a good time, you and your wife? Anyhow, all the LSU fans were tailgating in Poitras Street. They were taking over Poitras. Dylan chilling at the bar tonight. Yep. sitting in a bar on the inside waiting for his ride on the outside. And Jordan is the outside. And he's at his house doing a stream with us. So yeah, basically we were taking over Poydras Street. Walk-ons was fucking packed. There was no way of getting food over there. They had a line that stretched to O'Keefe Avenue the whole fucking time we were over there. So I'm like, you know what? I always do this route. Like every time I go park in my spot, I got to go walk to Bourbon Street and see what happens. Plus, I ain't been to Bourbon Street in 3 years. I haven't really did shit in the city in 3 years. This is my first time in the Dome in 3 years. First time going to Bourbon. Last time we were in New Orleans, we went to AEW. We didn't do none of that shit. We went straight to the lakefront, went to the show, and went and left. All the Florida State fans were taking over Bourbon Street because, that's what tourists do when they come to New Orleans. They want to go to Bourbon Street and get hammered, drunk, and shit. Yeah, they had a few LSU people on the street, but it was garnet and gold all over the city, all over the street, at every single bar and whatnot. So I made about 2 rounds to Bourbon Street. This was my first round. First interesting thing that happened, I did see a pair of titties on Bourbon Street. Of course, I don't remember what 2 bars they were, but anytime there's something big going on, the balconies are being taken over by people. Well, I don't know what places they were. On the left side, a balcony was taken over by some Florida State guys, and on the opposite, right across even from them, a balcony was taken over by LSU guys. And I'm already hungry, so I know not to go to walk-ons. Hard Rock Cafe, I was going there, but they had a full house, and the bar was full. So I was going to make my way to Dave & Buster's, and they had this tall, sexy-ass blonde chick. Both sides had fucking beads out, and we're going to see which one of them was going to get her to flash. Of course, who wins that? The LSU side. Nice enough to knock somebody out cold. I'm talking about when she jumped. Like, I watched her. When she jumped, it covered her face. You couldn't see her face no more. That's how big they were.
Jesus Christ.
What makes me laugh was, how they always got those dirty, nasty homeless guys that got the greatest beards to me, and then they're like, oh yeah, and they like want to try and get a sneaky touch and whatnot, and then they want to try and act like they're gonna throw shade on her and shit. So that was the funniest moment right there. I think the main funniest thing that happened is my second story. So I went to we have a Dave & Buster's in New Orleans. For those who know what Dave & Buster's is, it's like basically an arcade for adults. That's how it started. I remember when they first opened, it's a bar and grill, and it's an arcade. They have a big ass arcade. At first, you had to be 21 or older to go to this. Now I guess they let kids go, but they have to be adult supervision. Like, they want to go to the arcade and play games, they have to be accompanied by an adult. This isn't like Gaddyland or any other fucking place like a pizza joint or anything like that. Plus, this was only my second time ever at a Dave & Buster's. Still never played games because my brother, who used to go there all the time, he said that place is a fucking ripoff. If you want to play games and shit, like they give you those like cards, you have to put like a certain amount on it. Then you have to like, if you want to put a bar tab on, you have to add your bar tab on it and shit. Like, it's a bunch of fucking rip. So I never played. I just ate. That was only my second time there. I sat at the bar and ate. They got good food too, by the way. That place was packed with people. I got there lucky. I found me a spot. I felt like I was there forever because first off, there was only 4 or 5 people working the bar. It's a double-sided bar. Like, it wraps around. They got this big wall that splits both sides. And, of course, there's TVs on both sides, like probably 12 on one side and 12 on another side. There's only like five people working the bar. But you can't just have you got to keep the same person, because the woman that caught my attention was this like woman probably in her 50s, dirty blonde hair, short. She got my attention first. So I'm like, hey, I want a beer. I want food. She took care of me. But the problem was, when I was ready to go, I realized what time it was. I'm like, oh shit, it's almost 3:00. They were so busy. It took forever to get this woman my attention to say, hey, I'm ready to pay my bill. I'm ready to go. And I'm telling you, like, at one point I had my credit card out and I'm like leaning over the bar. My arm's leaning over the bar. for her, and she is purposely walking past me. She sees me with my card in my hand, but she don't come up to me like, "Oh, you ready to close out?" And I'm like, "Yes, I'm ready to pay my bill." No, she keeps passing me, and she would randomly pass new people that are coming just to get drinks, and they would get pissed, and they were like, "I get there fucking busy all the time," but she literally like looked at you and she just walked away. I said, "I know it's pissing me off. I got shit to go." They're like, "You going to the game?" I said, "Yes." They're like, "I got to fucking go." And I was getting really frustrated. I said, "I'm telling you what, if she fucking passes me one more time, I'm fucking leaving." I was like, they're like, I said, "People probably already did it." And I'm thinking, I'm like, well, let me message the league and see what would be better. I was hoping Ryan from Profess like would have gave me the advice of what to do. No, Bakley was one of the first people that told me, "Hey, if she does it again, leave." I think someone else said, yeah, leave. Go ahead. Might have been Nick. Well, I kept saying, "No, if she passed me again, I'm leaving." The first time she did, I hung around 5 more minutes. And then she purposely walked past me 3 more times. Looked at that guy, said, "Fuck it." I put my card up and I fucking walked out. And nothing happened. Then I got me a free meal and 2 beers like yesterday.
Yeah, nothing happened as of yet. I feel like maybe a cop's watching this right now and they will be at your door any moment now.
Oh, I was laughing at them. I was laughing at the little gifts they were sending me in the group chat, and I'm like, "Oh, hey Siri, Alexa, play Bad Boys by Inner Circle." So probably gonna be on cops because I ain't paid a damn tab or paid a check. I've been getting your fucking attention, woman, for 40 minutes, and you never acknowledged me. So you know what? That's your fucking problem. I walked out. I got shit to do.
Wow.
That was probably the highlight of the whole night. And I remember you kept like, "Are you arrested?" I'm like, "No, I'm back on Bourbon Street." No.
I mean, I didn't keep purposely asking you if you were getting arrested. I just said one time, "Don't get arrested."
No, shockingly, no. So I went back to Bourbon Street just to see, because this was like late afternoon. I want to see what else is going on. And I always have, if you know your streets really well, every time I'm in New Orleans, I always take that same route. I would always park right across from Walk-Ons. I will walk the block, 2 blocks from O'Keefe Avenue that turns into Roosevelt Way, and you end up in the French Quarter. Oh shit, what's that fucking street? What's that goddamn? It's like right when you get there, you're on French Quarter, and you go maybe like 4 blocks to the right, and then bam, your Bourbon Street's on the left. Always take.
You're asking the wrong person.
I think it's Royal. No, it's not Royal. I can tell you that Royal is a street over Bourbon. Oh shit. While I pop this up again, you got anything you want to ask me else that happened down there, or?
Well, you claim Florida State was taking over Bourbon Street.
Canal Street.
Okay.
Canal Street.
Yeah. Yeah, but
is.
you say Florida State fans were taking over Bourbon Street. Seems like every fan, once they come to New Orleans, whether it's for a college game or more than likely an NFL game with the Saints, how their fans always take over. I can understand that because Saints fans don't want to take over because Bourbon Street is fucking gross. So, of course, they don't want to take it over. So, of course, the away fans are going to be the ones to take it over, and it seems like they did something with it. But no, we had the perfect opportunity to go to Bourbon. It's just disgusting, and we don't want to go over there.
That's why I always wear an old pair of tennis shoes when I go. I didn't wear my LSU kicks. Not over there. I ain't ruining those. Yeah, it's Canal Street. I can't believe I forgot the name of the damn streets. Yeah, you walk down O'Keefe, and then a block, it turns into Roosevelt Way. You pass the block again, and then it's Canal Street, and then there's French Quarter. You go about 4 blocks, and then it's right on the left.
All right.
Sounds like a good time. Yeah, another interesting thing I did today, I was funny. I had time to kill. I said about 5:30, not 5, about 5 o'clock, I'm going to make my way back. You know, I made about maybe 2 rounds because I just want to see if anything stupid happens. You know, they always got kids with drumsticks banging on the buckets, or they got homeless people like will do anything for a buck, like do a handstand in the middle of that nasty street or jump off a balcony or whatnot, or anything stupid like that. And I'm laughing at all these tourists, or I'm laughing at the people that, you know, they always got crazy bouncers that will do anything to try and they try to act cool and shit. So like, I just go make a round. Well, one thing about you can learn from us. If you ever walk on Bourbon Street, don't walk more than 4 blocks. Because if you walk more than 4 blocks, you're going to end up on a side of bourbon you may not be comfortable with. Well, now they'll let you know when you're on that side. And you know what I'm talking about. There is a gay section on Bourbon Street. Now, when you know you walk too far, and I'm not judging it. I like how they did it to let you know, hey, if you walk past this, you're in our world now. Like, I was always told, don't go farther than the cat's meow. That's when you know you're in the gay section of Bourbon Street. Now they painted a rainbow fleur-de-lis in the middle of the road, meaning that's the border right there. And then before you even see that, you're going to see all the rainbow flags hanging all over the balconies and whatnot. And it's funny, I see a lot of like, besides women, of course, you're going to see women go over there because, you know, they like stuff like that. Honestly, even freaking random people, like I think all the LGBTQ plus community from LSU and Florida State were over there. Of course, they had this one big motherfucker. He had to have been, I swear to God, he was about as big as a wrestler, but he had small ass legs, and he had on some of these Daisy Duke shorts. And I was like, I started following, like, I'll get him to you, he's going over there. Yeah, he walked over there and he went on the balcony and met his homies, and then they were throwing beads and shit. On my way back, so I told you guys I'm in 4 fantasy football leagues.
Yeah,
we just had our final draft yesterday at 4:00. And it's on that fucking sleeper app. So we did the league draft on that. Last time I did a draft on that sleeper app, it took 2 fucking weeks for everyone to draft their whole team. Where the guy that ran this one, he put a 2-minute time limit to draft your team, and we got our draft done in 35 minutes. So
yeah,
and it was hot as fuck. It was too loud. I was getting too distracted. I said, I need to go somewhere quiet, somewhere with air conditioner or something where I can concentrate, focus on this. So, of all places, I'll give you guys each one guess. Where would I go that's peaceful and quiet and got air conditioning? Maybe I wouldn't say quiet, but, you know, it's not so loud. But it's a place to, like, just be calm and relax and just catch your breath, anything like that. I'll give you guys each one guess. Where would I go sit for 35 minutes to do my fantasy draft?
Fuck. I have no idea.
I went to a strip club.
Wait, did you classify that as quiet?
Well, I wouldn't say quiet. I meant like the music's not blaring loud and there's not people walking and jumping around. I went in there. Of course, there were about four or 5 dancers dancing. Everyone is just like calm. They're just sitting there like they're watching theater. Usually there's always that one drunk guy that's like, yeah, bitch, making it rain and shit. No, it was fucking peaceful. I'm shocked. No, I went sat in the far corner. It was dark in there. The air conditioner was fucking amazing. I went sat next to the closest vent that was blowing. So I was fucking sweating fucking Bud Light from Dave & Buster's that I chugged too goddamn fast. And I'm like, got my phone in. I turned my brightness off because I didn't want to hear the DJ. No, gentlemen, no pictures in the strip club, please. Don't you think I'll take pictures? No, I'm working on my fucking fantasy league. While I'm doing that, of course, a bitch has to come talk to me. She's trying to come make money. And I'm literally like, this is the whole time. She's walking. She's like, hey, daddy, what's going on? I'm like, and then she literally had the nerve to come sit on my lap while I'm drafting my fantasy team and talk to me. And she's telling me, she always got that stripper conversation like, you know, when I'm done living this life, I'm going to be a doctor, or I'm going to go into law school and shit, or I'm going to get out of this stinking city and go to a better place. And like, while she's doing that, I'm getting my team ready. And while she's making me comfortable, I just reach over and I have my hand on her ass while I'm drafting my fantasy team. I'm like, She's like, then she gets up. She's like, well, come at me, baby, when you're ready for a dance. And she fucking pecks me on the forehead while I'm drafting my team. And I made no interaction. And I'm like, I was like, yeah, I'm your daddy, bitch. Like, I'm keeping it casual.
God damn it.
So, yeah. Of all places, I got draft a fantasy team. in a strip club, and it's funny that I had my team ranked number 2 in the draft league while I did that shit.
Wow.
This one was way better than the fucking draft class I have in the league one and in the one I did with fucking ATB. That one was my worst draft I ever did because of how 20 people in that fantasy league and all the good names were gone after the second round, and we were drafted these shit names.
So the real question is does this strip club experience beat the last one where you got a lap dance to Randy Orton's theme song?
Oh, this was better than that because I didn't spend no money. The only money I spent was at Dave & Buster's.
Are you sure you spent money over there? Seems like you left.
Oh yeah, that's right. I didn't. Yeah, I just. I'll tell you, I was tripping balls yesterday. Yeah, so basically, I didn't fucking spend shit. The only thing I spent yesterday, I spent at McDonald's. I spent like maybe $11.
That's not bad.
I would have bought merchandise at the game, but we fucking lost, and I'm not doing that shit. Oh no, I did spend $13 on 2 bottles of water in the Superdome.
Jesus Christ.
A bottle, I think it's $5.95 or $6.95 for a bottle of water, plus tax.
Fuck that.
Yeah,
that's
ridiculous. I was fucking dying of thirst at halftime. I pissed like 4 times in between the first half, and I didn't even drink anymore. By the way, we had a halftime show. There's a girl named Amanda Shaw. She's a fiddle player. I don't know if you've heard of her. She's from Louisiana. She's really good, and she can sing. She did halftime. She sung the national anthem. She played the violin while she did it. It's fucking amazing. And the halftime show was her and Ciampa. That halftime show fucking sucked.
Dude, they're going to ride Ciampa until the wheels fall off. Ever since Ciampa Style became the theme song for the Saints during, what could have been the Super Bowl year when we got screwed over by the Rams, they have constantly brought this guy back for shit. It's getting old.
He didn't even sing Ciampa Style. Amanda Shaw had a remix of Louisiana Saturday Night that was sung by Mel McDaniel. That's one of the songs that gets our fans hyped. She redid, I guess she got the approval, even though Mel McDaniel's been dead for like 30-something years. She got the thumbs up. Oh, hey, you can make a song. And she did a remix with Ciampa, and his verse was fucking trash. I'm waiting to hear Ciampa Style or something. No, they just sung that song together, and that was it. And even kind of did the Ciampa Style well done. I'm like, what the fuck did I just watch? Like, after his performance, while they were still performing, I said, fuck this, I'm going piss. And I got there just in time before the line stretched so long. Since when did we become the females of this society? Remember in the good old days when the female bathrooms would stretch 2 miles long, and then the men's bathroom, you're only behind 3 dudes and you were in? No, now it's the men's bathroom is fucking 2 miles long because they can't fucking stop drinking. And I swear, I probably missed 5 minutes of the third quarter because I was waiting to fucking piss again. Plus, I was waiting to get my $13 of water. And I literally sat down for 5 minutes and I fucking left the game. Your name in the league should be the name of the strip. I don't even know what her name is because I never acknowledged her or talked to her. And I wouldn't even remember her name because the first time she interacted with me, she had to go on stage. And when she got off stage, she came straight back to me again. And I was still drafting my fantasy team.
God damn.
But see, before we even get to this wrestle talk, I made one more mistake. This is why I fucking hate the Sleeper app. Somehow, while it was in my pocket, because I need to get going. I'm walking towards the dome, and I'm like, okay, we're in the last round. I'm going to probably wait till it's my turn. I'm going to get a notification. I have my alert on. I didn't get no alert. Somehow, while my phone was in my ass pocket, somehow my ass turned on auto draft. And it drafted a third fucking quarterback as my final pick, and now I have 3 quarterbacks on this fucking team.
It sounds about right, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm working on a trade to get rid of his fucking ass because, I already got 5 wide receivers. I was probably going to draft another running back because I already have 5 receivers and 4 running backs, 2 tight ends, a kicker, No, there's no kickers on this app. It's just fucking offensive guys. Yeah, so I had just about what I need. I was going to get an extra running back. No, I get a third quarterback like a stupid fucking idiot.
Who'd you get?
So my 3 quarterbacks, the 2 I originally drafted was Josh Allen and Russell Wilson. And my auto ass drafted fucking Dak Prescott.
It's not terrible.
Well, this is my team in this league. Actually, no, that's another league. No, this league with the auto draft, my 2 quarterbacks are Patrick Mahomes and Russell Wilson, and then Dak Prescott. Running backs are Derrick Henry, DeAndre Swift, David Montgomery, Damian Harris. That's my running backs. Wide receivers, I got Stephon Diggs, Keenan Allen, Jerry Jeudy, and Elijah Moore. My tight ends is George Kittle and Tyler Higbee. My kicker is Evan McPherson, and my defense is the Ravens. Not bad to get ranked number 2 in that fucking draft. The league draft that took like 2 fucking weeks. My quarterbacks were Kyler Murray and Trey Lance. Running backs is Leonard Fournette, Cam Akers, Kareem Hunt, Jamal Williams, Marlon Mack. I'm probably going to fucking trade him. That's it there. Wide receivers, Jamar Chase, Mike Williams, Tyler Lockett, Jarvis Landry, Isaiah McKenzie, and Ronald Moore. Tight ends is Dawson Knox and Kyle Rudolph. This league, we didn't have kickers and defenses.
Mm-mm.
The other league in this one I did too.
Mm-hmm.
And then I showed you my fantasy team in the fam. That's where I had Josh Allen as my QB. Josh Allen, and I think my backup was Russell Wilson again.
Mm-hmm.
That one I was number 1 for a while until I fucking dropped down because I was the 2nd overall pick.
Mm-hmm.
No, I was the last pick. No. Oh my god, I'm fucking tired of shit.
Man, how'd you get that mixed up?
No, the draft I did in the strip club, I was the 2nd pick. The family draft I did Saturday night, I was the final pick, but I had back-to-back picks. Like every time when it would start over the original way, I would draft and then I would automatically draft again, and then it goes back. Same thing like if you were the number 1 overall pick, when you would go last the following round, you'd go first again in the following round.
Right.
Yeah, so that does it for story time with Marcus Hay, baby. If you want to hear more about our LSU talk in that game, tune in Thursday night on ATB Saints when we're talking Atlanta Falcons Week 1 with 5 members of ATB that are diehard Falcons fans. I know our buddy Joe Carlino we've had in the wrestling world's coming on. You know the other guys. One of them I know real well. I just can't remember his name.
Offhand, I don't know all their names, but they'll all be joining us. We're going to have 5 total.
So, first pay-per-view of the weekend started, I got the times wrong too. It actually started at noon our time. So it was 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific, Clash at the Castle. From Cardiff, Wales at Principality Stadium, 62,296 were in attendance. First off, I want to give a big ovation to that crowd in Cardiff. They made that show so fun to watch. And I knew they were going to bring the fun. Like, they must love Bayley to death in the UK. They did the whole singing, "Hey, will you be my girl?" They did that night. I don't know what was the best part. Them singing Edge's theme song or doing the Seth Rollins hum, because they did it so loud and they kept doing it throughout the night.
Maybe singing Edge's, because we hear Seth get his theme hummed all the time. It's not a usual thing to get Edge's theme song sung at all. So hearing the Cardiff crowd do it was pretty cool. I gotta say, for 62,000 plus, they fucking nailed it.
There was no pirate. Jordan, you're on mute.
My bad. I'll say Edge. It was awesome.
It was shockingly the only pyro we had that night was Drew McIntyre's pyro in the ring, the flames. There was no pyro at all, not even outside. You know, they love to pop fireworks outside of stadiums. I mean, every time they go to Saudi Arabia and shit, they do that. So first match, it was the on the kickoff. I didn't watch the kickoff. I didn't watch the show till this morning because I had to work Saturday. But Madcap Moss and the Street Profits defeated Austin Theory and Alpha Academy. Theory's first match with his full name back since WrestleMania. Did you guys watch the kickoff? I figured the crowd won with this one, let the babyfaces win.
No, I did not watch the kickoff. Didn't even know they had a match until the pay-per-view started.
Okay. Well, the show kicked off with a 6-woman tag. So now Bayley and Dakota Kai and Io Sky are now known as Damage Control. That's their team name. They defeated Bianca Belair, Alexa Bliss, and Asuka. Like I said, the crowd was all over Bayley. They wanted Bayley to come in and she'd play with the crowd. She'd tag in, they'd automatically tag back out. It pissed them off. But she took the pin when they all freaking triple teamed Bianca Belair, and Bayley took the pin for the team to win. I guess that's a sign that she's going to get a title shot next down the road against Bianca Belair, which I'm excited for. Renew their rivalry from last summer.
Yeah, for sure.
What's your take on the 6-woman tag? I didn't think it was that bad. I just didn't expect that was going to kick off the show.
I didn't expect it to kick off the show. I thought it was a good match. I didn't expect Bianca to take the pin, but for Bayley to get it, she should be in line, I feel like, for the Raw Women's title.
Yeah, it was a great match. I didn't expect Bianca to get the pinfall, so it was a great match.
All right, next match, I think I definitely said it. I think Dylan said it. I even heard other people from the league say it, like Ryan from Front Face Like said it was. Queen's Takeover said it was. Gunther versus Sheamus for the Intercontinental Championship. That was the fucking match of the night. That was hands down the best match of the night. But I thought Sheamus was actually going to win, finally become a Grand Slam champion and win his first IC title. Unfortunately, that didn't happen, but it was a hell of a match. I like how when it started, Gunther and Sheamus just stared each other down while Ludwig and Vinci were beating up Ridge and Butch while they're just standing there not moving a muscle.
Yeah.
Match of the weekend as well. I never thought that. Maybe at the end of the show we'll decide. We'll pick the best match from all three shows. See what was the match of the weekend to us. What is up, Clark Street? Shout out to Clark Street Wrestling. Mentioned like for sure, very positive. Tim also saying the same thing. All right, then we got a match I didn't expect to go the way it did. Liv Morgan versus Shayna Baszler for the SmackDown Women's Championship. She went in there. She didn't look like she was injured. She looked like she was 100% ready to go, and I didn't expect her to pin Shayna Baszler to retain her title. I think we all thought Shayna was going to break her elbow or break her arm, make her tap out and win the title. No, Liv Morgan continues to fight another day, and I like it.
I don't at all. This was the time to put it on Shayna Baszler, and they completely screwed it up. I don't know. Liv, for me, she's not it. She's not getting the reaction from the crowd. Now, while I'm not, fond on her getting the crowd turned on her, I just think that Saturday was the moment for Shayna Baszler, and it was taken away from her. And also to lose clean like that. I can understand if she won by a roll-up and maybe they go at it again at some point, but she lost clean. There was no reason for that. I thought Triple H was going to bring back that NXT Shayna Baszler, but I guess I was proven wrong.
Give them time. They'll come.
Yeah, it was a great. Yeah, it was a great match. Yeah, it was a great match, but I think they should have put it on Shayna Baszler though.
Was it really that great? Because the crowd looked dead for that match. They looked like they were not interested in it at all, and it kind of made me wonder, was that the worst match of the night?
I mean, it wasn't good.
I'll tell you what's good. What happened after this match, and you called it. We had a tag team match. Edge and Rey Mysterio versus Judgment Days. Finn Balor and Damian Priest. Okay, Edge, I know you got a year left before you officially retire on your own terms, and you want to do everything you can, but please do not wear that mask ever again. That's an ugly mask.
Yeah, that was pretty bad.
This match wasn't bad, actually. I thought it was a decent match. It was fast paced. The crowd was in it for Edge. I think he had probably the second loudest pop outside of Drew McIntyre. And like I said, everyone was singing his song. Like, they could have just muted it and they could have sung him out to the ring like when myself and 4,000 other people did for Jericho on their first Dynamite in H-Town. They literally sang it word for word till they got to the second verse.
Right.
And I felt like I was watching a football game because, you know, Wales likes to sing songs while the action's going on.
Yeah.
But at some point, it was Dominik Mysterio trips Finn Balor. First off, he got attacked by Rhea Ripley again. That made me laugh hysterically. Edge looking like El Generico with that mask. El Generico. He trips Finn. Ray hits him with a 619. And I like how Finn sold it and then turned around and got hit with a spear by Edge. They win. And like you told me, because whenever I saw the videos of how he turned on them, and I'm like, okay, give me details. How did it get started? And you were like, well, Edge and Ray were celebrating, and they were leaving Dominik in the corner in the dust looking like a fool. And it's like, what about me? And then he looked at Edge. He kicks him in the nuts. And Edge's face was his perfect expression for it. And then Rey Mysterio, like, what are you doing? He's like, come on. And he starts crying. And then Dominik got in the exact position Eddie did when he held Ray up. And then, well, Eddie punched him in the face. Dominik clotheslines him. And the crowd, they went from like, holy shit, for kicking Edge, but they cheered him for clotheslining Ray. They wanted him to turn heel, and then they started booing him again. And what made me laugh was Judgment Day in the corner laughing hysterically at everything. Like, they didn't expect it, but they thought it was hilarious. And then he left on his own. I like that kind of heel turn. He's not going with Judgment Day. He's going on his own. But I had the quoted tweet of the century that did not get any acknowledgement at all. I even told you about it. I did it as a sarcastic way of being funny. I mean, we know the whole fucking story. Yeah, that's everyone. There's still people that believe Eddie is his son, which that was just a storyline. If you didn't watch A&E on Rey Mysterio and the rivals of Eddie Guerrero versus Ray, Bruce Pritchard got that storyline idea from Eddie's book, Cheating Death, Stealing Lies, which I watched the DVD. When him and Vicky at one point were in bad terms, Eddie had an affair with another woman, and then he had his third daughter. He's a dad. He's a girl dad. He had his daughter Kaylee with another woman. Bruce came with the idea, what if all this time Dominik was his child and he had an affair with Angie behind Ray's back, and they turned it into this amazing storyline that people say was the greatest soap opera they ever did in WWE that led to like 2 awesome matches in 05. Well, when he clotheslined Ray, I quoted the video and I tweeted, "You fucking piece of shit." Even though, and I put the how did I say it? The mocking the mocking font, like you'll do like lowercase capital. I put, "You fucking piece of shit." Even though he's not your real father, he still raised you like if he was your own son. No one liked it or tweeted it, nothing. And I'm like, wow, I did not get no recognition from that, but I thought it was funny. I've been waiting forever to say that when y'all kept calling Dominik was going to turn heel soon. I've been waiting, when did you first started saying he's going to turn on Ray? Was this around Mania or after Mania? I've been holding that in for months.
I've been saying it probably since the year started, not even close to Mania. It's been probably around maybe end of January, early February. I've been saying this.
I think at one point you thought he was going to turn on him at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
That was like 4 months ago. But yeah, he walked out, he ripped his shirt off, and he even took his shoe. Like when he kicked Edge in the nuts, he took that shoe off. And then when he clotheslined Ray, he took his other shoe off. He was walking backstage with just socks on.
Yeah,
it didn't make no sense at all. Like maybe Edge bought him those shoes. I don't know. Yeah, so I'm actually excited to see what happens tonight, and he explains why he did that, but I think we know why he did that, because he was already mad. Ray's teaming up with him instead of his own son. That's what you said, and that's what even Michael Cole brought up. So I like that kind of heel turn. And no, he didn't go with Judgment Day, so I'll give that heel turn a thumbs up, even though I can't stand the little kid. All right, Seth freaking Rollins versus Matt Riddle. The crowd, like I said, what? Okay, Matt Riddle's shorts were Patrick Starr's shorts.
Yep.
It's funny, him and Patrick have the same IQ level. Seth Rollins looked like he took Becky Lynch's outfit for next year's WrestleMania. He coming out with looking like the devil himself with wings and everything. It was kind of funny, and he had the little heart sunglasses. That match was actually good, but I couldn't believe they actually gave it to Seth Rollins. First time since June of 2021 he wins a Premier Live event match by pinfall. A long time coming.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna steal this. Shout out to the #1 wrestling podcast on Pornhub, Smack It or Raw. I'm gonna swallow Seth Rollins getting a pinfall victory over Matt Riddle. I'm also gonna swallow the crowd in Cardiff making that show so fun, and I'm gonna swallow that Dominik heel turn.
Makes sense, yeah.
And I'm gonna swallow the Gunther Sheamus match being the best match of the night.
Yeah, most definitely. And since we moved past it pretty quickly, and I wasn't able to give my take on Dominik too much, but yeah, I called it. I mean, I'm not the only one who called it, so I'm not going to take full credit for it. There's multiple people who called it. We talked about it on our league meeting last week, that we're not the only ones who called things. There's other people who said something, so I'm not going to be the full one to take responsibility for it. But yeah, this was a long time coming. I feel like it was time for Dominik to finally turn on Rey Mysterio. And I feel like since Rey chose Edge to be a tag team partner, that I feel like Dominik was going to feel some jealousy towards Edge. He already didn't like Edge at all. So this was a time, I feel like, to turn. And whenever they were celebrating after that phenomenal victory, the 619 into the spear, that was such a cool finish. Now, while I'm not really big on Judgment Day constantly losing matches, I feel like it was a perfect way to end, and just by the sequence of it. But then Edge and Rey Mysterio are celebrating the entire time, and they're leaving Dominik right in the corner and not even paying attention to him whatsoever. So finally, they come up to him, and he looks right at Edge, and he kicks him right in the dick. That was perfect. And going back to the shoe thing, the first shoe came off after he kicked Edge, and he decided to take the other one off after. So that made me a little confused why he walked back in just his socks, but I went back, watched the video, saw the shoe came off, and then took the other one off. But then as he gets ready to clothesline Rey Mysterio, I'm just watching the crowd the whole time. And if someone in the crowd is with somebody else, then I can see them like they're talking to each other, and they're like, watch, it's about to happen, it's about to happen. And the moment he goes for the clothesline, I just see their facial expression, and it's priceless. It was the same reaction I had, because I keep on expecting the heel turn to happen time after time, and they let us down each time. But this was the time to finally do it, and I gotta give them credit, they finally pulled it off great. Now, what it means for Judgment Day, I'm not sure. They were laughing hysterically. I think Monday Night Raw is going to be the true test for us. Is he going to join Judgment Day? I feel like once he's giving his little promo, which I'm interested to see that he's going to give a promo. I'm very interested in that. He has to give a promo after betraying his own dad. Something tells me Judgment Day is going to come out and offer him a spot. I could be wrong, but I'm hoping I'm right, because he needs that sort of leadership from a Damian Priest, a Finn Balor, and a Rhea Ripley, even though Rhea kicked his ass week after week. I just feel like he needs that leadership. I'm not sure if he's ready to go on his own yet. So maybe having some sort of leadership in a heel faction maybe is what he needs. So with the Dominik thing, I'm very intrigued by this. I think this could be something pretty cool. And then, I mean, yeah, I just feel like this was one of the better moments of the pay-per-view. And then even going back to Gunther and Sheamus, a match of the night, potentially match of the weekend. So everything from there on out was just great.
Yeah, it's about time they did it, and I'll be tuning in to Raw tonight to see what happens.
Okay, now give me your take on Seth Rollins versus Matt Riddle.
Yes, this was the time to put Seth over. I said it on our prediction show. We did predictions on a league meeting with all the other podcasts in the league. I said the same thing. I just feel like, Seth can afford to lose this match, but I feel like he also needs to win this match because counting the disqualification victory he earned at Royal Rumble against Roman Reigns, I mean, he's lost time after time to Cody Rhodes. He didn't fight at SummerSlam. So this was the time to give him a victory. And this doesn't necessarily put a damper on Matt Riddle's career whatsoever, because this was a really good match, I mean, regardless of the outcome. So I just feel like whatever happened, I think both superstars were okay career-wise. So Seth Rollins getting the victory, and what we're going to talk about in a few minutes when it comes to the main event, maybe this leads into something bigger now, which we can all hope at this point.
Now I'm glad that he finally got a win. It's been a while.
And then we get to the main event: Roman Reigns versus Drew McIntyre for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship. Another thing that the fan base in Cardiff Wells got that they wanted, they got to hear Broken Dreams. They did a video package for Drew, showed highlights from the start of his career to towards today, present day. Then it cuts to his actual theme where you hear the sword swing and then you hear the bagpipes and everything. It's called the Gallantry Remix or something like that in the Apple Store. So yeah, he got a big ovation too. By the way, if you want to talk about the Clash at the Castle set, they didn't have nothing super crazy or nothing. They in reality they had a little entranceway like they had for SummerSlam, except it wasn't parallel. But hanging above the ceiling, they had a giant Titantron shaped like a castle, which was pretty cool. What made it look cooler was when they would show the blimp shots from far away, it looked like the castle was placed on the floor, and it looked like the actual setup, but it was hanging on the ceiling. That's what I liked about that, even though they didn't have nothing super fancy. He got a big ovation like we knew, and I liked how the European fans always can make something up with the Seven Nation Army chant. They were going, "Oh, Drew McIntyre." When we get to AEW All Out, they were doing, "Oh, scissor me daddy." Or, "Oh, bask in his glory." I like shit like that. Roman Reigns got booed the fuck out of that stadium. I was shocked he came out alone. No Usos, no Paul Heyman. He came out on his own. Hell of a match. This was the longest match of the night, 30 minutes, 47 seconds. A lot of near falls. Roman Reigns kicking out of the Claymore and everything. Drew McIntyre kicking out of 2 spears, a couple Superman punches. Even during the middle of the match, he got to do his "Acknowledge Me." Devin Clark Street. That was my match of the night. Of course, that was your match of the night. Well, there was one point, which I didn't watch. He ended up telling me what happened, which I didn't care. When I saw he retained, I said, "Oh, well, let me guess the Usos got involved." Nope. Technically not the Usos, but a family member got involved. After the second or third Claymore, there was a man in a hood, pulled the referee out. We find out it was the Usos' younger brother and Roman Reigns' other cousin, you can see in NXT, Solo Sikoa. And he distracted Drew McIntyre. I think he bounced his neck off the top rope, and he turned around and ran into a spear. He throws Lil Nate back in the ring. They count 1, 2, 3. Roman retains. The crowd was kind of like, "What the fuck?" But wait, I forgot the best part of the match. I laughed fucking hysterically at this. Before the Solo Sikoa shit happened, we hear A-Town down. Here comes Austin Theory running, sprinting with that briefcase with the referee. He goes to the timekeeper. He goes to hand it to him. Then out of nowhere, okay, we had a few celebrity guests in attendance. We had Tyson Fury, who had a WWE match before. He's a boxer. That UFC champion, who's from England, Leon something. He was in attendance.
Yeah.
And then they had a famous wrestler from Wales with his manager, Miss Linda. I remember her name was Miss Linda. He was in attendance. Plus Bret Hart and the family of the British Bulldog, because they showed the highlights of the last time a pay-per-view was in the UK. It was SummerSlam 92, a pay-per-view I covered. They showed all that. He goes to hand the timekeeper's briefcase. Tyson Fury gets up and knocks fucking Austin Theory out cold. And he sold it perfect, and I laughed hysterically.
Yeah.
When I heard someone knocked him out, I thought it was Johnny Gargano or something. When I watched the video, I was like, no, that's Tyson Fury. Like, what's he doing there? Like, he's just a guest. You know, he's from the UK. I laughed hysterically when he punched him. He just like randomly got up and punched him. Like, you're not ruining the Tribal Chiefs match. And I guess him and Roman are friends. After Roman retains, he gets in the ring and he shakes his hand. And I'm like, the rumors, Tyson Fury is supposed to have a couple more matches in WWE. What if he fights Roman Reigns next? No, he shakes his hand, and then him and Solo walk away. And a weird way to close out the show, he gets Drew McIntyre up. The fans give him a standing ovation for a hell of a performance. And Tyson Fury is like, you know, at times like this, when I'm down, I like to. They were singing American Pie. I guess that's Europe's favorite fucking American song.
Well, Tyson Fury sings it all the time.
They were singing it with him. But I feel like I've heard them sing that at Premier League games as well. Like when I watch Manchester United, I've seen the Manchester United fans sing it and shit. And they like to sing all time. They like to sing Blink 182 occasionally and whatnot. Such a deflating ending to both the main event and the show. I thought it was a good pay-per-view. I didn't think it delivered as much as SummerSlam did, but I thought it was a great pay-per-view.
Yeah. Going back to the main event, if I want to give my piece on it, I've already said time and time again that I haven't been a huge fan of the way that a match with Roman Reigns ends because it always involves some sort of interference. But this time around, this is interesting because this brings up Solo Sikoa to the main roster and what looks like he's going to join the Bloodline. So the Bloodline gets even stronger you could really refer to him as Baby Uso. So I'm really looking forward to this. So while I'm not the biggest Roman fan of all time, this is interesting. Because it's not the same old, Usos get involved and they do most of the work. No, this was a really good match on Roman and Drew's part. It was one to get invested in for sure. The crowd was behind Drew, 100%. And you could tell that they were deflated after Drew lost. But it was the way he lost with the interference from Solo Sikoa and then Roman getting the spear for the victory. So, like I said, while I'm not the biggest fan of how his matches ends, this is interesting. So I feel like they're going to hold off on any sort of thing with Solo Sikoa until SmackDown, because the reports are stating he will be a part of the SmackDown roster along with the other members of the Bloodline. So I'm looking forward to this. I think it's going to be something cool. It was a really good pay-per-view. The main event was, solid. The ending, though, with Tyson Fury, I stated on my Twitter that this is something that I feel like could have been saved for an off-screen moment, like how sometimes AEW, they release the videos from, like exclusive videos from when Dynamite goes off air, like they did the one in New Orleans when we went over there. They released the entire video of it, and they do that sometimes whenever something cool happens. Now, this could have been saved for an off-screen exclusive YouTube video because it was downright weird. And this was not the reason, and this was nothing like to show on air for anybody else to see other than the home crowd that was already there. I don't know. Like I said, Tyson Fury sings this song all the time, but he could have saved this for like an off-screen moment because it kind of killed the momentum from the ending of the main event and to take away from Roman Reigns. Because Roman won, this is their first time overseas like that in 30 years. So this was Roman's moment, and I feel like they kind of took it away from him with Tyson Fury.
Yeah, it was a great match. I thought Drew McIntyre was gonna win, but when they pulled the ref out the ring, I was like, all right. And then Roman Reigns hit him with the spear, and then with the singing at the end, I don't think it made sense.
You think they're gonna change his name as soon as he gets put on the roster, or they're gonna keep him as Solo Sikoa?
I would keep it Solo Sikoa, but I don't know at this point.
What do you think, Jordan?
I think they're gonna keep it.
Yeah, I mean, that'd be crazy if they could think of something to start with the letter J and call him Uso, like maybe like John Uso or Jack Uso or
Jack
something
Uso.
like that. Jimmy J and Jack, or Jimmy J and John, or Joe Uso or something. Now, this is the perfect time to do this. Since we got 4 actual cousins and 4 actual Samoans together, this would be the perfect time to bring War Games to Survivor Series and let the Bloodline be a team. We ain't got to worry about Sami Zayn getting in the bunch. Make it 4-on-4. The Bloodline versus whoever, Drew McIntyre and 3 other people. I don't know. Or maybe another group of people. If they want to do SmackDown versus Raw, get 4 guys from Raw to face the Bloodline. Just give us War Games at Survivor Series. This is the right time to do it, because now if you got Solo called up, you got the perfect team for that in the Bloodline.
Mm-hmm.
So that wraps up Clash of Castle. I'm just going to run down the match card for Worlds Collide because I haven't watched it yet. Basically what it was just a way of getting rid of NXT UK for good. But Carmelo Hayes defeats Ricochet to retain the NXT North American Championship. Pretty Deadly beats the Creed Brothers, Gallus, and Briggs and Jensen in a unification match to retain the NXT Tag Team title. Actually, they won the titles. They win the NXT Tag Team titles and the NXT UK Tag Team titles. Mandy Rose defeats Miko Satomura and Blair Davenport in a triple threat to retain the NXT Women's title and then win the NXT UK Women's title. Katana Chance and Kaden Carter defeat Doudrop and Nikki ASH to retain the NXT Women's Tag Team titles. And then the main event, Braun Breaker defeats Tyler Bate to retain the NXT Championship and win the NXT United Kingdom Championship. Braun Breaker becomes the first American to win that title, because everyone else in the UK that won the UK title was from Europe or from Russia, whatever. I didn't get to watch it yet. I will say I was disappointed in Pretty Deadly winning the match because I was picking Gallus. So that makes me wonder, is Gallus even going to be here long enough unless they're trying to get rid of all the NXT UK talent? I didn't expect Damon Kemp to turn on Diamond Mine, but if that was him that attacked Roderick Strong in the most dangerous parking lot in the state of Florida, that was hilarious. Mandy Rose, people are so fucking pissed she won, but I get it. Miko is leaving to go back to Japan, and basically Blair Davenport's probably going to be out of a job, so they're keeping it on Mandy. Braun Breaker and Tyler Bate, I've heard a lot of positive reviews saying it was the match of the night. The celebration at the ending where he puts both titles on him and they celebrate. If you can keep a certain amount of people from NXT UK to go to the NXT roster, Tyler Bate should be one of them. Gallus should be the other. Did you watch this show? What do you think of the outcome?
I only caught the last 2 matches, the women's triple threat and the main event. I was stunned that Mandy Rose won. I figured she was a shoo-in to lose, either Miko or Blair Davenport to walk away with both titles, but I did not see Mandy winning coming at all. I kind of figured she would lose, she would be without any titles, and she would come up to the main roster along with Toxic Attraction. But I guess they got different plans for her right now. I'm kind of excited to see where it goes, because I kind of feel like this was like the rejuvenation of Mandy Rose, her going back to NXT. She's been doing nothing but good things. I know some will disagree with me on Mandy Rose, but I feel like this was her calling, was to come back to NXT, to rejuvenate herself, bring along 2 other people with her, with Gigi Dolan and JC Jane. And they're doing really good things in NXT right now. So I feel like that a main roster call-up is in their future, but keeping the title on her, I guess they have different plans to keep her on the NXT brand. Now, the main event, I got a different thought on it. I thought Tyler Bate was going to win, but I guess the main roster isn't ready for Braun Breaker as well. So I guess they'll continue keeping the title on Braun Breaker. I know some people don't agree. I necessarily don't agree. But I'm going to trust Shawn Michaels. He's running things over there, and he's doing a damn good job at it. But I did not catch the rest of the matches. It's just the last 2, so I really can't give it a fair rating.
Yeah, I caught the last 2 matches too, and both matches was great.
Yeah, I'm gonna potentially watch it sometime down the road, but some people, they had their ands if or buts about it. Some people enjoyed the show. Some people were upset about the downfall of NXT UK. But I think people were more pissed about Mandy Rose winning. Everyone is just fucking over her. Some say she still sucks. Some just want her to reunite with Toxic Attraction and go back to the main roster. I mean,
She's not bad at all.
Well, no, she's not bad at all. But I think she's better than Jade Cargill.
But the thing is that Toxic Attraction is not on the main roster yet. That was just a one-off thing for the tournament. Now Gigi Dolan apparently is injured. That's why they had to be taken out of the tournament. But they're still currently in NXT. So that was not a main roster call-up. Soon enough, it will be because they're very talented.
Exactly. And then we go to our final show that I recently just finished watching a few hours ago, AEW All Out, that took place in Chicago again. But the next time they're on pay-per-view, which will be November 19th, they are going to be somewhere that's not Chicago and not Vegas. They're going to Newark, New Jersey for Full Gear. I guess that gives you some sort of relief. At least the next 2 pay-per-views, it's going to be somewhere different.
Right.
That's kind of a... Now, I did not watch the 0 Hour. I just went straight to the main card. And it's funny, they no longer call it the buy-in. It's now, they took Ring of Honor's pre-show and called it the 0 Hour. Did you get to watch the 0 Hour or no?
Yes, I watched the entire thing. It was all right.
So they had 4 matches on the 0 Hour. So we had Sammy Guevara, and now she's going back to her old name, Ty Mello, defeating Ortiz and Ruby Soho to retain the AAA World Mixed Tag Team Championships. Before I move even forward, did Sammy even have wrestling gear on? The last thing I remember seeing was him and Ty getting chased down by a golf cart, and Sammy has the worst luck when it comes to golf carts, which that was kind of funny, but people are so pissed at Sammy Guevara because supposedly he damn near almost broke Ruby Soho's neck when Ty kicked her and the way he dropped her and she landed on her head. And now everyone wants Sammy Guevara's blood. At least y'all don't have to worry about them making out at the entrance, or they did enough making out during the match and after the match.
They did it everywhere. Like, there was no hiding from it. It was everywhere, which makes me hate him even more.
Fuck the haters. That was the horrible. That was the most horrible Seth Rollins laugh I just did. I'll tell you what else. I'll tell you what I can do that's not horrible. Was there any other involvement with the Jericho Appreciation Society?
I mean, Angelo Parker had a match with Hook.
Yeah,
during 0 Hour, but even that wasn't good. That was pretty bad.
Well, if you watch the 0 Hour, at least you got to hear that legendary entrance twice, or maybe one time. I don't even know if they played that for Sammy and Ty. They played it for Angelo Parker. So Hook versus Angelo Parker for the FTW Championship. Of course, I see Hook's entrance on Instagram. He always gets a loud pop, especially in Chicago. They said this was a tough match for Hook. When my dad watched the 0 Hour, he said Hook was fighting for his life. I guess there was some involvement with Daddy Magic trying to get the title.
I mean, not really. I mean, for me, I felt like Angelo Parker stood his ground.
Okay. Jordan, did you watch the 0 Hour with Dylan?
Yeah. I think it was okay. It wasn't much, but
it said the match was 3 minutes 55 seconds. To me, that sounds like a squash match. It sounds like a Brock Lesnar type match, but they said Hook had some momentum, had some turns against him. Like Angelo Parker had some offense in this match and even took down Hook, but I didn't watch it, so I couldn't tell you. I'm pretty sure I can find it on YouTube.
Oh, yeah, you will be able to.
And then we had Pac versus Kit Sabian for the All-Atlantic Championship. Pac retains. And then they said after the match, supposedly he had a legendary promo with Orange Cassidy. I
mean, if you want to call it legendary, there was nothing said. Orange Cassidy came out, put his hands in his pockets, and looked at the crowd. That was it.
The only thing I remember seeing Pac was like, no.
Yeah.
And down the road, just give Hook the TNT title already and give him some. Yeah, I agree. I want more Hook. I want to see Hook on Dynamite and not on Rampage and not on 0 Hour. Put him on an actual main card on a pay-per-view and put him on Dynamite. I think he only had 1 or 2 matches on Dynamite. All his other matches were on Rampage and the buy-in or 0 Hour, whatever you want to call it. He don't even wrestle on. He's too good to wrestle on Dark Elevation.
Yeah, apparently.
And then they had Eddie Kingston versus Tomohiro Ishii for the second time. I take it this was the match of the 0 Hour. It was the longest match of the 0 Hour. It went 13 minutes and 25 seconds. I'm pretty sure Eddie got a huge ovation from the crowd, and I'm pretty sure Ishii did as well.
I mean, it was a decent match. I was texting Nick from the UW pod like pretty much the entire time during the pay-per-view. And I even told him I don't see the obsession with Eddie Kingston that people have. I'm just not a big fan of the guy. I feel like the match with him and Ishii, I mean, was good. Call it like something spectacular to watch. I mean, I wouldn't go back and watch it. I just think Eddie Kingston's a bit overrated.
Yeah. What about you, Jordan?
Yeah, I liked it, Eddie Kingston. It was okay match.
So the show kicks off. Talking about the main show, it kicked off with the casino ladder match. Now they did it different. They treated it like the Battle Royal. In the past, everyone was in the match all at the same time. No, they did like the Battle Royal. 2 men start. Every 3 minutes, another participant came, and I was like, "Oh, this is different," but it made it a little more interesting. I know it started off with Wheeler Yuta and Rey Fenix. Then I think Roosh came out next, and he was actually my pick. When I saw the lineup, I'm like, I'm picking Roosh. I'm not picking. I thought the Joker was going to be someone making a debut like it usually is. Roosh came out. Then I think Andrade came out. Then Dante Martin. Then Claudio, and then Penta came out. And then, okay, so I wasn't paying attention. At one point, did the lights go out or something? Because next thing you know, I see someone full in black grabs the poker chip. We find out it's Stokely Hathaway. I'm like, well, he's not in the match, so they can't ring the bell. And then you see a bunch of other guys wearing all black and have hood on everything. It's everyone he recruited from Ethan Page, Lee Moriarty, Colton and Austin Gunn, the Ass Boys, and W. Morrissey. And then we have the final participant, which is the Joker. And I'm thinking, okay, he's doing that. He's going to hand him the poker chip. Once he hands it to him, the match is over. Well, here comes a guy. He's got this crazy, black and white devil mask on. He gives him the poker chip. It's over. Now, do you want to just people who watched it know it's just our. Do you want to just tell them now who the Joker was? Or you want to wait till we get to the end of the damn talk?
I think everyone had it figured out the moment they saw him walk. I mean, you cannot hide that walk.
You cannot hide his format. When I saw his format, I'm like, dude, that's got to be MJF. And the way he did, he was going to take his mask off, and then he was like, I said, that's fucking MJF. I'm fucking telling you. And then when he did shoe, I'm like, it's MJF. I'm telling you. Love the end of the ladder match. So, yeah, I guess this is a new faction with these guys.
Seems like it. He's given his business card to all these people. I don't necessarily think MJF's going to be a part of it, but if he is, cool, because Stokely used to manage him a long time ago, so it all makes sense.
Then we get to this. We're going to have a debate on this match and another match, but we have the finals to crown the first AEW Trios Tag Team Champions. We have the Elite versus Hangman Adam Page in the Dark Order. I'm going to say hands up. I think this was the match of the night.
Yeah.
I thought when I heard the ending was bad, I thought Hangman turned on Silver and Reynolds. No, he went for the buckshot lariat and Kenny Omega dunked and he hit John Silver. And then when Kenny covered him, I think it was Nick Jackson or something, held him down and made him watch him take the 3 count. And I hated Nick Jackson's beard. He did the blonde tips again like Hulk Hogan. And I can't wait to watch Being the Elite. Can't wait to see them get ready for this match, show off their kicks, talk shit like they're Billy Badass, and fast forward through all of Ryan Nematt's bullshit again. That was a fucking great match. I will give it to Silver and Reynolds. They fought for their lives. That was probably their best performance of ever, especially John Silver. Like, I know he's so short, and I pick on his height a little bit. That was an amazing match. So much drama. And Kenny is the first man to hold 3 titles in AEW. And you find that Justin Roberts was saying his intro a little too fast.
Yeah, I find he was.
I laughed when he said that this man is now Kevin Nash's new favorite wrestler, and he's probably also Will Ospreay's favorite wrestler. I laughed hysterically at that.
Yeah.
And then you got to do the originally from Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada, but he also represents North Carolina.
Yeah.
Oh, and the Young Bucks got their own shoes now. They're going to be available soon on AEW on shopaew.com. I might give me a pair.
Should probably be a lot.
Probably will. You probably have to pay retail and all that, like they pay their shoes.
Yeah.
It's funny. Even Don Callis had those shoes on, and Michael Nakazawa had them on as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree, Justin. When we get to that, okay. So, oh man, this next match, this is one of 2 matches I'm going to nominate for worst match of the night: Jade Cargill versus Athena for the TBS Championship. I liked Athena's little intro look she had on. What the fuck is Jade Cargill trying to be She-Hulk or something?
That's what it seemed like, yeah.
First, the little thing pops up, and it has a brick wall that says "that bitch," and she just runs through it. And she's got like part of her body is painted green. I'm like, is she trying to be She-Hulk?
I would assume, yeah.
I don't see why people love her. She fucking sucks. And I don't know how they still got the title on her. I was hoping I picked Jade to retain because they're, God forbid, going to try and make her go 40-0 or 50-0. She's not good. No one wants to work. They don't want to work with her just like no one wants to work with Sammy Guevara. And when I saw that spot with Ruby Soho, as much as I love Sammy and Ty, I see why Eddie Kingston did not want to work with Sammy, because he damn near broke Ruby's neck. And she fucked up a lot with Athena. Damn near fucked her up as well.
Yeah, I mean, she has the it factor, though, I feel like, Jade Cargill. She has the look. She has the charisma, the personality, and she has it all. But I just feel like she could use that in-ring work. And I really and truly, you can agree with me on that. You know, she needs to work on her in-ring skills. If she does that, she gets better. She can be their greatest superstar by far. She should be in that the women's championship picture, but I feel like she needs to work on the in-ring skill before anything. So let her hold on to that TBS title. I kind of feel like it's a meaningless title, but I don't know. I just feel like she would work on something better. Then she would be the best one they have over there.
Before we move forward, I want to give a quick shout to Scott. I'm sorry, Jordan. Go ahead. I interrupted you again.
Yeah, she needs to like get better and like in the ring and stuff. And can I put it out there? She had different hair.
She did.
Well, she didn't wear no wig. I think she colored her hair again. It's white now, I think. Is it white?
I don't know. But that's a random ass fact that Jordan threw out. I would have not expected that to come from him.
She changes her hair. She changes her hair color more than Sasha Banks.
When Sasha comes back.
Yeah, if she comes back.
Yeah.
I just wanted to put it out there. So
yeah, I mean, she's had turquoise hair, she's had white hair, she had green hair, she's had blue hair. Feels like they're waiting for Statlander to get healthy and take it. Yeah, I want it to be either Chris Statlander. I don't know about Britt Baker. Britt Baker doesn't deserve that title. That's like a mid-card title. Or Jamie Hayter, maybe. I don't know. But before we move on, I want to give a shout-out to a guy who's going to give me so much hell Thursday, but he's been on our show a lot. He's a good friend, Joe Carlino. quoting our live stream right now on Twitter, saying podcasts which aren't the bros at WEP are simply with the gif of MJF mid. He's gonna fucking bash me Thursday. I'm sorry. With his Falcons, and I think he is a Florida State fan.
Oof.
He's gonna bash. If he don't support the Gators, I think he supports Florida State. He said a long time ago.
Yeah.
All right, then we go to another trios tag match. We get Wardlow and FTR versus the Motor City Machine Guns and Jay Lethal. Now, I will say what happened at the end of the match was very heartwarming. If you know the story with Dax's 8-year-old daughter, something with her heart. I don't remember the full story. What was it like? She had like heart issues, or she's sick.
Something like that. Yeah.
Well, they started this like motto. It's like fight like an 8-year-old girl. Well, they made T-shirts. See, I haven't been keeping up with Rampage lately. Well, they made T-shirts for this little girl, and Sanjay Dutt. Good God, look what he evolved to now. What he starts calling her a brat. Supposedly, he'd been calling her a brat for days. And when they come out, he puts on one of them T-shirts that they made. Like, you know, that we always do that for people that are sick or have cancer. We make T-shirts for them for good cause. Well, they made T-shirts for this little girl. It's white T-shirts that says "Fight like an 8-year-old girl," and it's got the little heart. Even got FTR on it and everything. He scratched out "girl" and put "brat," and it pissed the fans off. And then, first off, Wardlow looks like fucking $1 million. FTR is the greatest tag team today in AEW. Great match. And then we get the return of Samoa Joe, which where has he been for the last few months? I know he was injured. Did he look fat to you? He gotten so big.
Well, Samoa Joe's always been fat. I mean, there's no changing that.
And he shaved his head bald again. So, like, every time he's got that buzz bald look, I thought he was about to be a heel, because usually when he has that look, he's going to be heel.
Mm-hmm.
No, he whacked Sanam Singh with the ROH TV title. He whacks Jay Lethal with it. They take Sanjay Dutt. They put him in the ring. Well, then here comes Dax's little girl. I forgot what her name was. Mm-hmm. She comes out. They take that pencil he had on his ear, and she just looks at him. She breaks the pencil in half, and when he turned around, Dax gives him an uppercut, and then she puts her foot on his chest, and then the referee counts to 3, and I felt like I was watching Connor the Crusher's little thing he did with Triple H when they started Connor's cure. Mm-hmm. It brings me back to that, because remember they did that little thing for him. Like, they had all the wrestlers in an empty arena. He came out with Daniel Bryan, and Triple H got on one knee and started talking to him, and then he gave him a little punch and counted the 3. Like, I love little shit like that. So whatever's going on with Dax's daughter, from all of us here at World Elite, we send our thoughts and prayers, and we hope everything gets better and she gets 100%, and you know, the good stuff. Now, Sanjay Dutt's the type of person I would not want my kids to be around. He looks like a guy that doesn't need to be around kids.
Damn, why?
I don't know. He looks like a fucking grown kid, like that wants to play with other people's kids. He looks like.
I mean, I'm not mad at Sanjay Dutt. I feel like he was a part of a cool moment for Dax Harwood's daughter, so I gotta give it to him for that. It was one of the cooler moments of the night by far. I absolutely loved it.
I mean, it was a great match. Yeah.
I mean, I loved it too. Okay, now hopefully we don't hear this down the road, but you know they're not going to bad talk this like they always bad talk -1, which -1 that he needs to fucking go back to school. But I quoted this tweet, and it was the funniest shit ever. They said, Dax's daughter is the 3rd kid to win a wrestling match in AEW history. They showed the little boy dressed like Orange Cassidy. Remember, they did the same thing for him. So this Twitter user, @KaiTheOrdinary, tweeted, Dax's daughter is the 3rd kid to win a wrestling match in AEW history. And she posted 2 pictures. The first picture is the Orange Cassidy kid. And the second picture she posted was Jonathan Gresham. Because he's like so fucking, because he's fucking 4'10".
That's so good. I did not expect that.
Oh man, I retweeted it. I'm gonna have to send it to you. Okay, then we get Powerhouse Hobbs versus Ricky Starks. This kind of disappointed me, because I was like, pushing Ricky Starks to the moon, and then he just gets squashed in 5 minutes and 5 seconds. It wasn't a shitty match. I just didn't expect it. Hobbs deserved a win too. Ricky Starks, I liked his look, like his ring attire and everything. He looked like a fucking $1,000,000 there too. But that's not their last meeting. They're going to end up wrestling again down the road, maybe like a Grand Slam or something. All right, then this next match was also nominated for Match of the Night. We get Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland, or if you want to call them Swerve in Our Glory, taking on the Acclaim for the AEW World Tag Team Championships. I laughed at the little promo they did from Rampage when was it Max Caster or Anthony Bowen said we're going to kick you to Moon and Pumbaa looking asses. I almost dropped my bowl of food. I was laughing so hard at that. But his rap was so shit. His rap was fucking terrible. Or freestyle, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, it wasn't that great.
But that was a great match that even the fans were making it fun. The whole, scissor me daddy shit. And they even had a you can't scissor chant. Were they doing that to Keith Lee or were they doing that to Swerve? Wasn't paying attention.
And neither was I. I didn't even hear it.
Well, while I take this phone call real quick, give me your take on the match. I'll let y'all go first.
This is in the running for Match of the Night. There's, very select few that's in the running for Match of the Night, but this is one of them. I personally think the Acclaim should have won. The crowd was, they were behind them 100%. Now, I don't see a lot of over tag teams in AEW. You see FTR, who's extremely over, but then you see the Acclaimed of all people who are super over, and Tony Khan did nothing with them. This was the time to put it on them, and they somehow fuck up and they keep it on Swerve and Keith Lee. Now this kind of felt like almost like a heel turn for Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland. I'm not sure. This was more of a heelish match for them. So, that could be potentially interesting to see Keith Lee as a heel. I'm not expecting. We've seen Swerve as a heel before with Hit Row. Now I'm excited to see if they pull the trigger on Keith Lee to make him a heel. Could be something interesting. But for me, I feel like the Acclaim was the one to win the titles, and they shit the bed on them. And it sucks. They've been there for so long, and they haven't won one title yet. It's time to listen to the fans and give us what we want. Put the titles in the Acclaimed.
Yeah, I can see this going up Match of the Night. It was just a great match, and with the fans saying "Scissor me, daddy ass," and it was great.
I kind of want that shirt. I know. But it's a gay term. Like scissoring is a gay thing, but it's fucking hilarious. Like,
but okay, hear me out. Okay,
perfect for it.
Hear me out. Let's say you're walking in a public place. Let's say it could be Walmart. It could be any sort of store, and you're wearing this T-shirt, and someone who's not particularly a wrestling fan sees you wear that. What do you think is going through their head once they see this shirt? No.
If they see me wearing that shirt, they're going to think of two things. Number one, they're going to think I'm a homosexual. Number two, they're going to think I like to probably freaking molest men. And if I wore that shirt on Bourbon Street, if I wore that on Bourbon Street, they're going to probably pull me by the dick to the gay side and want a scissor.
But the thing is, with this T-shirt, I understand it's cool. It's a funny catchphrase for Anthony Bowens to Billy Gunn, but you will not catch me ever, and I mean ever, wearing this T-shirt out in public, and I am not getting this T-shirt whatsoever. Even if I would go to another AEW event, I will wear something else. You will not catch me in this T-shirt.
I'll fucking wear it. Jordan and I'll fucking wear it.
Well, y'all can go ahead. That's all for y'all to do that.
If you were sitting ringside and Anthony Bowens stands by you to holler, New Orleans Lafayette, would you scissor him too?
Yes.
Yeah.
I would too. Don't worry. I would just be. Yeah. I wouldn't go all out and be like. I'll just be like.
Shit, Jordan would.
Yeah, I would just go.
Oh shit. No, I don't think it's a heel turn. I think it's just because they're in Chicago. They have the right to their own opinions. They like who they like and they hate who they hate.
Dude, I need to screen record that. Oh
Please
my god.
do. Please fucking do.
I do. That was fantastic.
Yes.
Oh my god.
All right, next match, which I believe should have been for the real thing. There was a 4-way match for the interim AEW Women's World Championship. Toni Storm, Dr. Britt Baker, Jamie Hayter, Hikaru Shida. With how this match went, Hikaru Shida gets hurt, but she comes back. I didn't even know she was a champion in Japan, but she didn't come out with the title. I don't think they didn't want her to come out with it. We might get a potential Jamie Hayter, Britt Baker match down the line. At one point, they were involved with each other.
Yeah.
But Toni Storm wins. I called it, but I was like, it should have been the real fucking thing. Should have took the title off of Thunder Rosa, and then when she gets better, then she could have a match down the line, probably at Full Gear or Grand Slam. Well, I don't think she's going to make it to Grand Slam. I think she's going to be out a couple months. So maybe potentially at Full Gear, they'll have their match to determine the undisputed women's champion. Okay, this was another disappointment. Christian Cage versus Jungle Boy, but I thought it was just a one-time thing. I think now he's going by Jungle Boy Jack Perry. They changed his name.
Yeah.
When Jungle Boy comes out, well, Christian Cage comes out first, and of course, Jungle Boy, I'm still going to say Jungle Boy. I can't say the whole fucking thing. I can't say the whole thing. He comes out, of course, his wife and his sister are in attendance again, and the last time we saw them in attendance, when Christian turned on him, that's when his sister looked like she was drunk and she flipped him off. It was the funniest thing ever. I don't know, doesn't Jungle Boy's mom look like Laurie Strode from Halloween? Or basically Jamie Lee Curtis?
And how did you say that? Yeah.
Jungle Boy comes out, crowd's doing the oh. Can you imagine if they did that in Cardiff, Wales?
Oh my god, I know. That would be awesome.
I would love to see them sing the whole Tarzan Boy. That would be cool shit. Well, he comes out, he goes to the tunnel to look for Luchasaurus. He comes out in the heel tunnel, and he's got the black evil T-Rex mask again that everyone wanted back. He turns on Jungle Boy, choke slams him on the steel guarding, and he had the marks on his back. Mm-hmm. And Taz, was it Taz or Excalibur that said some stupid shit like, those things have been hot, of course he's going to have marks on his back. Like, shut the fuck up. It actually wasn't Jim Ross that said it. It was either Excalibur or it was Taz.
I can't remember.
I kind of wish Tony Schiavone was on commentary because I didn't get it's Sting! No, he was a backstage announcer for the night.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he carries. Well, first he puts him through the timekeeper's table in front of his family, and then he puts him in the ring, and Aubrey Edwards like literally flirting with him, like just rubbing on his face to make sure he's okay. Yeah, let Anna Chase see that. She'll fuck your ass up. Are they even still together?
I believe so.
Well, the bell rings. Christian hits him with a spear, which was odd to see. You know, I was like, is he paying homage to Edge, or was it just something that randomly happened? Well, he kicks out of the spear. Then he gets up. He puts him in the kill switch. Before he even hits it, he looks at Jungle Boy's mom and sister and blows him a kiss, blows him a smooch, and then he hits the kill switch. And 1, 2, 3. Christian beats him in 20 seconds. So some said this was the worst match of the night, or some will say Hobbs and Starks or Jay Cargill and Athena.
I mean, I'm not sure what happened with Hobbs and Starks. I feel like they deserved a lot more than what they were given. I think with Christian and Jungle Boy, I think I read somewhere earlier that Christian's hurt, and this is why they went on with this match the way it did.
He had a fucking brace on his elbow.
Yeah, he's hurt. they wanted to continue this match somehow, and that was their best case scenario. So I wouldn't really call it the worst. I just make it the best out of the current situation that they were in. Now, Jade and Athena, I mean, they were also not given what they deserved. I feel like they deserved a lot more than what they were given. So I wouldn't really say any of them were bad. It was just lack of time. And honestly, with Tony Khan, how can you give him lack of time? Fucking pay-per-views are 5-6 hours every time. So you can afford to give them the time that they deserve.
Yeah, I think with Jay Corey and them, I think they could have went longer than they should.
This pay-per-view actually wasn't that long. It wasn't long like Double or Nothing. This one, I think, was at the 3-hour mark. Now, yeah, they had 15 total matches, but 4 were on the 0 hour when they could have did 2 on the 0 hour instead of 4. But
right.
No, I don't know how hurt he seriously is. Something told me they'll probably have a fucking banger match like at Grand Slam or something, because that's coming up in 2 weeks.
Yeah, probably so.
So yeah. Unless they want to drag it all the way to Full Gear, if he's hurt really that bad, I'll give it to. They should have just called off the match if Christian was hurt. It was going to make a difference without it. Yeah, I mean, it depends what his injury really is. I know he had the brace on his elbow, but if it's a minor injury and he's good to go for Grand Slam, I would like to see them main event Grand Slam and have a fucking killer match. But if it's that bad of an injury, I guess hold it off till we get to Full Gear and then they have a banger match.
Yeah.
Then we go to Chris Jericho versus Bryan Danielson, which I guess Chris Jericho is no longer the Wizard. He's going back as Lionheart, and everyone hates the Lionheart gimmick now, like acting like he was in the 1990s, and everyone's already over Jericho. And I wasn't expecting Elliot to come out and sing Bryan Danielson's theme song like that. At first, I'm like, who the fuck is this jackass? I was like, I know that ain't Bryan Danielson singing, and the way he looks, it's like there ain't no way Elliot Taylor sings that theme song. No, I thought that was like one of MGK's backup dancers or something, or Justin Timberlake's backup dancer. No, it's Elliot Taylor, who's got to be from Washington, because Calvin was like, oh, the good friend of Bryan Danielson who sings his theme song, Born for Greatness, come out. We didn't get a lot of crazy entrances and outgoing entrances like they did for Double or Nothing. That's probably the only like out of board entrance they did was Elliot Taylor singing Bryan Danielson to the ring. The match actually wasn't that bad. I was waiting for Daniel Garcia to come out and get involved. He wasn't even involved, but at one point I fell asleep during the match because it was the longest match of the night. It was 23 minutes and 40 seconds, and Jericho beat Bryan. Did he hit him with the Judas effect, or did he hit the walls of Jericho? I remember I was asleep, and when I heard the bell ring and I heard that Lionheart theme, not Judas, I'm like, oh, fuck, Jericho beat Bryan Danielson?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he did.
I guess he beat him with a Judas effect, or did he put him in the... He don't call it the walls of Jericho lately. He's been calling it the Lion Tamer, or the Lion Tamer.
Yeah, it was the horrible Judas effect, which one of the worst finishing moves ever.
The Wizard was the worst nickname ever. He literally looked like a 50, 60-year-old soccer mom. But I will forever miss him just I'll throw a fireball in your face because I'm a wizard. That is the most keyboard warrior shit you could fucking say to somebody.
I know.
I feel like a kid that plays World of Warcraft would tell me shit like that. That'd be like me saying, I'm going to bust your eardrums because I'm a podcaster.
Jesus Christ.
All right, then we get this other trios tag match. We get Darby Allin, Sting, and Miro versus House of Black. First off, House of Black's entrance with the green lighting was fucking cool. Julia Hart looks amazing as a heel with them. And I don't get why Brody King and Malachi have to fucking paint their whole face black and white with their beards and shit. Buddy Murphy looks like a badass, but he looked like he had a massive sunburn on his body. He was so peach. He looked like he got too much sun, and he got a massive sunburn.
Yeah.
I didn't get the fucking little entrance with Sting and Darby, like, was that like a scorpion tail or something on the Jumbotron or something?
I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
Darby Allin's shorts looked a little too big. He looked like he had a lot of leg space. You notice he got a new tattoo on his back. He got his spine tattooed on his spine, all up and down his back. Looks pretty badass. I wonder how long he had that, because I wonder if that tattoo already fucked up, because they say you can't sweat for this amount of days after you get a new tattoo and shit.
Yeah, I know.
Not bad. I even like their little black and green attire, and I guess Darby and Miro are gonna have a feud down the line because they did not get along. Miro would not tag Darby. Darby kept having to blind tag him, and he'd like hit him, like smack him in the shoulder, like doing that sunburn slap. That something to get you knocked the fuck out. But yeah, he kept like blind tagging him hard, like hit him hard on the back or on the shoulder.
Yeah.
And this was the perfect match to have Tony Schiavone commentate, because I kept visioning what would Tony Schiavone say, like when he had Malachi in the sharpshooter, but he kicked him and then he got up. He's like, Brody did something to him, and he was like got up again and did not budge. And I could just picture Tony Schiavone, because he gets a major orgasm when Sting does something crazy, because he's 60-something years old. But Darby wins with the coffin drop. Not the coffin drop. He put him in this weird pin they called the Last Supper. He hit the coffin drop, but then Buddy Murphy countered it. He put Malachi in some fucking weird inside cradle they call the Last Supper, and that's how they won the match.
Yeah. But then an off-camera thing with a House of Black, I'm not sure what that is kind of referencing to. There's rumors of Malachi asking for his release. Some people say he's taking time off due to mental health issues, but they did all hug, and then he gave a bow and he blew a kiss to the crowd. What does this mean? Is he leaving?
I saw that video.
Is he taking time off? I don't know.
I heard he had a lot of mental health issues. Tony Khan don't want him to. Tony Khan's not letting him leave, so he's probably going to take about 6 months off to get some help. Go see a therapist or something, or a psychologist, get his mind right. I mean, I heard a rumor that him and Selena Vega were getting a divorce, supposedly. I don't know if that's true or not, but he's not been himself lately, supposedly. It's going to be weird not seeing Malachi for a bit. I would not be shocked if Triple H brings him back, but it'd have to be a big buyout. Like, it would take a lot for Tony Khan, which we're going to talk about later. But main event, CM Punk versus Jon Moxley for the AEW World Championship. I have a lot of questions about. First off, CM Punk should never wear white pants again. It just did not go well. I was laughing at Jon Moxley the whole time. Tony's extremely dropping the ball in the House of Black. Yes, he is. That's another team that could have been the Trios Tag Champions as well. I like how they kept showing Moxley before he walked out to the crowd, he looked at the camera and he flipped the camera off, and he was flipping off the people while he was walking. He was like, fuck Chicago and all that. I thought it was funny as hell. The match was 5 seconds shy of the 20-minute mark. And it was shockingly, Punk was bloody. Moxley did not bleed. I was shocked. Punk was a Crimson Mask. He got his ass kicked, but somehow he managed to win. I guess he hit the GTS because I was in the bathroom when I heard the bell ring. But I was seeing them go back and forth and everything. But this is what pisses me off. But then I get why, Was Punk really hurt from the start? Did he really hurt his foot, or was that just a botch? And then, like you mentioned, like Tony's doing the whole hometown favorite thing, which let Jon Moxley win the world title in his home state, and then give it back to Punk because it's in Chicago, which that's a Tony Khan thing. Tony Khan would do. But before I even want to fucking say more on CM Punk, what was your take on the match?
I mean, the match was decent. I mean, it was a decent main event. I was not looking forward to it. I wasn't excited for it whatsoever. The promo from Dynamite did absolutely nothing for me. I was hoping that maybe someone else would come out, sign the contract, but no, Ace Steel, who's a very good friend of CM Punk, came out, grabbed the contract, and then it leads to later on in the night with Punk I mean, going basically to call it quits, taking his ball and going home once again. And then Ace still comes out, has the contract with him, and basically slaps him into reality that he can do this again, and he can challenge Jon Moxley for the AEW World Championship at All Out. And that did nothing for me. I know to some other people it was a really cool moment, but for me it did nothing. It just made this main event, I'm like, eh. So whenever when I looked at the main event, I'm like, yeah, if Jon Moxley wins, I don't care. If CM Punk wins, I don't care. Now, the beginning of the pay-per-view got me excited because I said the Joker has to be MJF. And this is not the last time we're going to see him tonight. So, towards the end of the match, which we'll get to, I mean, it was good. And yeah, he hit him with 2 straight GTSs. And that's how he won the match. But, I mean, the match was okay. It was better than what I expected. I expected both men to be bloody and basically be suffering from dehydration. But, nah, it was decent. They went to the crowd a little bit. They were pretty much everywhere. It was just better than what I expected, but it was still not my favorite main event. But it was better than last year's main event with Omega and Christian Cage.
Yeah, it was an okay match. It didn't bother me. It was just a great match.
Okay, so after the match was over, the lights go out. Then we hear like it's a voicemail call of Tony Khan talking to someone saying like, I won't negotiate with you, but I'm going to give you this final offer. If you show up at All Out, you'll win the casino ladder match. And then they bleeped out how much money you owed. When I heard all that part, I'm thinking, okay, MJF. Well, then they show TV Fuzz, and then they show a clip from one time when Punk won the Ring of Honor World Championship. I don't know if that was his first reign. I don't know how many reigns he actually had. He did a promo talking about the devil, like they were calling him the devil or comparing him to the devil or something. Well, then they show the mask, the Joker with the black and white devil mask, who turns away, takes the mask off, and I recognize MJF's hairline. The crowd goes crazy, and then if you saw it when we announced on Twitter we were going live, we even put that quote, I am the what was it? I am the devil.
It's the title of this episode. I am the devil himself.
I am the devil himself. And then he puts the scarf on and the crowd goes ape shit. It goes black again. And as soon as you hear his theme song, that was a fucking lie. That was louder than CM Punk. That was louder than Hook. Comes out. He's still got the all black that he had on, like Stokely Hathaway and all his other guys did. But he got the scarf around his neck. Looked cool on him. He looked like he put some pounds on, but that must be all the black he wore. Punk's like bloodied looking like, oh, fuck, not this fucking clown again. And then he just looks at him and he does first he does the neck slicing. He does this and he's like, that title's coming to me. And then typical MJF flipping out the Chicago crowd, and I laughed. Pay-per-view goes off the air. Pay-per-view actually, I'll tell you what, it was definitely better than Double or Nothing. But what was the better pay-per-view of the weekend? Was it Clash at the Castle or was it All Out?
So I'm going to give it to Clash at the Castle simply because I feel like everything went great. There was no quick finishes. I kind of feel like Triple H listened to the crowd, minus the Drew McIntyre match, even though I feel like the crowd was still somehow behind Roman. But I do feel like the ratio between Roman and Drew was all pro Drew McIntyre. But I kind of feel like that we're going to see Roman and Drew go at it again simply because of how it ended. And if you want to count Drew McIntyre out after one loss, then you should do the same thing to Brock Lesnar, who has gotten opportunity after opportunity and has failed every single time. So you got to give another opportunity to Drew McIntyre. And like I said, with how it finished. So the reason why I'm giving it to Clash at the Castle is because All Out, had more of a stacked card by far. They had an 11 match advantage over them. And I feel like they still couldn't get it done. There was some flat finishes, some quick finishes, I mean, a lot of botches. And I think what saved him was the end. I did say that MJF was the one that needed to save this pay-per-view, and he certainly did so, because if MJF wouldn't have showed up and it would have ended with Punk celebrate with the title, then it would have been a huge dud of a pay-per-view, in my opinion. Because even when CM Punk won, there was no huge reaction. It wasn't a thunderous pop, and being in Chicago for CM Punk, I expected a bigger reaction, but MJF was the one to receive that thunderous pop. So out of all the pay-per-views this week, I gotta give it to Clash at the Castle. They absolutely killed it. And for the first pay-per-view, I feel like really under Triple H, because I feel like SummerSlam still had some of Vince's plans. So Clash was really, I feel like, the first one under Triple H by himself. They absolutely killed it.
Yeah, I'll give it to Clash at the Castle too.
One more question about the comparisons before we move on. Which fan base you thought was the best this weekend, Cardiff or Chicago?
Now, you know me, I love Chicago. Chicago crowds kill it every time. But Cardiff just had that feeling like you were in there for the first time in 30 years. And they made it known that that was their first time being there in all those years. They were thunderous from start to finish. They did not miss a beat whatsoever. The singing to Bailey, singing Edge's theme song, pretty much expected heel turn from Dominik, and the crowd still made you feel like you weren't expecting it whatsoever. The reaction to Broken Dreams, even though I would have done it a little bit differently, I would have let Drew come down to the song.
Yeah, just for one night only, let them come out to Broken Dreams for the crowd and they could sing, because they were singing it too. You hear it in the background, they were singing the whole thing.
Exactly, because look what they did for Revolution when CM Punk faced MJF. They gave him his Ring of Honor theme song the entire way down. Something tells me they should have did that with Broken Dreams, but I feel like if they would have gave him Broken Dreams the whole way to the ring and then you still have him lose, I feel like that's a horrible, horrible move. So somewhat I can kind of feel it, but I feel like the Cardiff crowd just fucking destroyed it. They need to go back there more often because they deserve it every single bit.
Mm-hmm. I mentioned that. I said they deserve to have a pay-per-view down the road. Hell, give them a fucking Royal Rumble at least. I know you won't give them Mania because they don't want to do Mania overseas. Give them like a Royal Rumble or something. Like, you want to do like a Clash, maybe not do Clash at the Castle like at another city in the UK. I don't care if you go to Dublin, Ireland, or even go to like Scotland or go somewhere in England, but Cardiff deserves another pay-per-view. I don't care if it's at Principality Stadium again or if they go to a smaller arena. Give them a Royal Rumble or something. They deserve a Big Five or Fab Five, whatever you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
Jordan, what's your take with the crowd? Did you prefer the Chicago crowd or the Cardiff crowd?
The Cardiff crowd.
Cardiff?
Yeah, Cardiff.
All right, before we move on to our final topic of the night, I just want to make sure everyone in the league is in this conversation with us, like in comments with what we're going to talk about. You want to talk about how successful Clash at the Castle was? Look at their press conference. I watched a bit of it. It went smooth, being professional. They were happy to answer questions. And even Triple H, they asked a question about potentially coming back to the UK down the road, and he mentioned it like, we would absolutely love to come back. But he's saying it's depending where can we do it and where, because, there's hundreds of stadiums now. He kept it professional, and he actually spoke the truth. Like, yeah, they could potentially come back. It's wherever they want to do the show next, because they like to do these stadium shows now, and there's like thousands of stadiums in Europe. London's got like fucking 4 stadiums now because they just built that new one for the NFL, and then they got Twickenham Stadium and Wembley and everything. Like Manchester, they got Old Taprit, and then they got like the other for Manchester City and everything for their football teams and whatnot. And then they got stadiums in Germany they could hit up, all that. Now, if you want to talk about press conferences, there's been a talk they like to call the AEW Media Scrum. And let's start with fucking Tony Khan first. Supposedly, I didn't watch the whole thing. I'm just laughing at all the shit people are using it for. But supposedly he got asked a question comparing his show to WWE's show at Clash of the Castle, and he got like really fucking pissed off. And I'm gonna potentially use this as a meme throughout probably the rest of the year. You might even hear it as a clip during sound effects and nostalgia episodes. He at one point was like, "I'm seriously not gonna take this fucking shit." Like he was fired up and pissed about whatever question they asked. I guess it compared to this show at Clash at the Castle. Let's start with Tony Khan first before we move on. Not only that, he was drinking in the middle of the press conference. He was obviously drinking beer, but everybody else he was like talking to, like he had some combos with Tony Storm, Keith Lee, Swerve, and CM Punk. There was some cans in. There was no way that was beer cans. I thought they were beer cans, but Punk was drinking that shit, so I know it wasn't beer. I was like, Is it fucking ginger ale or some shit? Because it's like a green and white can. But Tony Khan was hitting the beer bottles, especially when Tony Storm was in the middle of her press conference, and he like looked away with his eyes big, and he was chugging that beer bottle in the background. So give me your take about the whole Tony Khan outburst, saying that he was not going to take any more of this fucking shit.
So from my understanding of what he was talking about, I think it's that he didn't like that they did 2 shows opposed to his one this week. It's almost like AEW deserved their own weekend to have a pay-per-view, so they shouldn't have done one at all. And he keeps talking about how much money he has and all that. But for Tony Khan, you know, I've always said good things about Tony Khan, but something about me is starting to lose some sort of respect I have for him because of just how he acts. He's an immature owner, and we've all learned this. And we're going to talk about somebody else in a few minutes when we're closing out, but yeah, he's not one that I feel like is very professional. When it comes to pretty much anything, you can tell he's pretty much still like a rookie owner for a wrestling promotion. It's just embarrassing for Tony Khan.
Jordan?
I didn't watch the interview.
Oh, well, when he kept bringing up David Crockett or Jim Crockett, and he was like, I have way more money. I was like, bro, shut the fuck up, please.
It's fucking embarrassing.
You own the NFL team that fucking sucks. Well, your dad owns the NFL team, and your dad owns a soccer team in the UK.
Mm-hmm.
Watch CM Punk being straight edge, just a complete farce. Yeah. Speaking of CM Punk, he gets asked questions, and he just fucking outbursts. I guess you could call it a pipe bomb. He starts talking his shit about Colt Cabana, bringing up saying how he paid most of his bills for like the last year, and he said he still had all the receipts, all the fucking paperwork and the emails and all that bullshit. And then he starts talking shit about Hangman Adam Page, starts talking shit about MJF, still comparing him. He's like, I still got to work with these kids down the road. And he's saying like how they're killing pro wrestling and it makes him fucking sick and everything. Not to mention that what happened with Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks, like after the press conference, he obviously got in an altercation with the Young Bucks. I think he swung at one of them. That's why they showed the security guard running away from the far corner. That was according to Fightful Select. You know, Omega and the Young Bucks, who Punk was pissed off that threatened to walk out of Punk's comments during that media scrum. There was an update that Punk got physical with one of them that morning. It didn't say who, but a number intervened to separate everyone, and there was supposed to be more to come. And that was when the Bucks confronted Punk about his comments, and it did get visible. Punk was throwing punches at. If I had to take a guess, I think he was throwing punches at Nick Jackson. Nick would be the type he would be the fighting brother out of the two. But
so I read more on it. Nick Jackson actually got knocked out, and Ace still got involved.
That's gonna be an interesting episode of Being the Elite, if they even bring it up.
They probably won't.
See, this is why I fucking hate CM Punk. That's why I fucking hate the man Phil Brooks. He's a fucking scumbag. He's a fucking piece of shit. First off, he's a fucking atheist. That's another reason why I hate him. Because I'm Catholic, I believe in God, and he spits on all people who believe in God and everything. So fuck him for that. I'm a Republican. He's a fucking Democrat. That's all I'm going to say about that. He has his own beliefs about certain things we're not going to talk about, and I'm not going to comment about that. But Fuck you, CM Punk, you fucking piece of shit. You're Satan. You're another version of Satan. You're killing wrestling. Like you've mentioned, Dylan, he's a fucking cancer to this world of wrestling. And I want to take back every fucking thing I gave of him I've said he should come to AEW. He came, I was all happy for him, but I had a feeling he was going to go down that path like he did in 2009 and make me fucking hate him so much. I can't stand none of his fucking shit. And he got a bitch and whine about everything. And it's like when him and Tony Khan are together, it's a bad sign, and they always got a bitch and complain about shit. I wish he'd have fucking lost. I wish his foot was actually fucking broken where he couldn't compete, and Moxley would have won that match. But now that I'm glad he faked it and everything, your brother said Vince would have never let a talent talk like that right next to him, and Khan is definitely a pushover. That's what happens when everyone is allowed to be an executive vice president. Yeah, I get that. Supposedly we just talked about that. It was Nick that got knocked out, and Nate Steele was involved with Kenny Omega as well. So, yeah, Punk needs to fucking go. He's obviously ain't happy with AEW. He just needs to leave wrestling for good. If he goes to New Japan, fine. I don't give a shit. WWE's not. Triple H ain't gonna take him back. I love all the shit that was kind of the truth. Like what Triple H told Punk on an episode of SmackDown, that was basically the truth. What John Cena said about him on Raw, that was basically the truth. All from 2011. Like, take your fucking ball and leave just like you did in 2014 because you ain't happy. I don't care if you disappear another fucking 6 or 7 years. I'm over him. I hope MJF takes the title off of him, too, because I'm fucking done with this son of a bitch.
So to add on to your comments and to even give more of a take on this, yeah, CM Punk's a cancer. He's been a cancer in the locker room for quite some time now, and everyone is just now realizing. Everyone's been thinking it's a work for the longest time, and there's no chance in hell that this is a work. This is all pure Phil Brooks. This is not CM Punk's, because the man Phil Brooks is a piece of shit. He's a crybaby when he doesn't get what he wants. And that entire media scrum with CM Punk on there was a joke. And it was even a joke for Tony Khan, because Tony Khan could have interrupted CM Punk at any point of this media scrum, and he let him constantly just air out personal stuff about Colt Cabana that he should not have done whatsoever. That was a bullshit move right there. To talk shit on the EVPs, talking Kenny and the Bucks. I mean, Tony Khan's right there, and you're letting one of your talents trash talk your EVPs right on the side of you. That was also a bullshit move. To constantly call MJF basically working with a prick, that's also a bullshit move. And a kid. It's also a bullshit move. So Tony Khan, I mean, the entire time I could just watch his face while CM Punk's talking, and you can just tell the pain in his face that the talent that's talking about AEW and how bad it is to work there, it feels like the dream of AEW was crumpling right in front of his face. And it just makes me wonder, where does this go from now on? And there's a physical altercation between CM Punk, Ace Steel, and the EVPs. I mean, going forward, does CM Punk even have a job with AEW going forward? Because there's no way you can have your talent. It doesn't matter if he's your world champion, if he's a top talent. This guy is a cancer. And we've learned this from his previous run in the WWE. And then he comes to AEW wanting you to believe that he changed, and it's not even close. This is an absolute unacceptable behavior by one of your top talents. And just like Ryan was saying, Vince would not let this slide. Even Triple H would not let this slide. You gotta be professional when it comes to stuff like this. It's just stupid. It's just a piss poor way to act. And the people are trying to ask you questions, and you're constantly bad mouthing other superstars. Answer the questions like a fucking professional and just move forward. And there's no reason to let your personal life or anyone else's personal life, just like Colt Cabana, get in the way. And honestly, just talk about the fucking pay-per-view. We're talking about MJF. I mean, it doesn't matter if you keep character. Don't air out personal stuff when it comes to wrestling. Wrestling's a scripted promotion. Every promotion's scripted. I mean, it makes me think AEW's not scripted whatsoever, because Tony Khan lets them say whatever the hell they want. And the thing is, you're doing this right next to Tony Khan, and he's not saying a word. So that makes you know right there that even though they've been in business for 3 years, that they are still not a true professional company. Because you're gonna like be the owner and let your talent say that, even about your EVPs, the one you've went into business with. It's unacceptable. For me, I feel like you gotta take the title off of him, and even if you gotta go as far as putting him out of a job, you gotta go far as that.
Yeah. I mean, Jordan, I know you didn't watch it, or you probably just hearing all about this, but Justin's saying, just picture how big of a deal it would be if Punk is the reason Kenny and the Bucks actually get pushed to the limit if they possibly leave. I can't see those three going there. And yeah, they were offered a job to go there like 5 years ago, but they decided not to. Yeah, they've had tryout matches. The Young Bucks had tryout matches back in 2008. Didn't go well. I'm pretty sure Kenny Omega maybe had a tryout match a long time ago as well. But yeah, even the last year, it's like ever since he came back, even though when we first enjoyed him, I remember his first press conference last year after his match with Darby, he was the same fucking way. He was talking shit. Not even want to talk about comments of his match and whatnot. The only interview I ever heard him to where he actually sounded like a real professional was his AEW Unrestricted episode with Tony Schiavone and Aubrey Edwards. That's probably the only interview that I ever heard him do that I actually enjoyed. And he was not a fucking dick and a prick and an asshole. He was like, I hope the worst comes for him. Fuck him. But that will do it for tonight. Raw comes on in like 1 minute. So if you want to follow us on social media, that's our Twitter handles right there, right below your screen. We're also on Facebook and Instagram. The podcast, subscribe to our YouTube channel. You'll catch all our live streams powered by StreamYard like this, plus our ATB Saint live streams from StreamYard. Proud sponsors, 80s Tees. Go to 80stees.com. Type in World Elite as our promo code to get 30% off of your order. For Wrestle Champs, the wrestling card mobile game, download on any iOS or Android device. Type in World Elite Pod 1 to redeem 5 free move cards. Subscribe to us on any audio platforms. Be sure to give us a 5-star rating and a 5-star review. Spotify, Apple Pod, Spreaker, Google Pod, iHeartRadio, and more. You guys have any last words before we close out?
After 2 hours and 5 minutes, I have absolutely nothing to say no more.
Nah.
Well, all right. Well, Raw just aired, and we're about to tune in. This is the Worldly Podcast. We hope you all have a wonderful Labor Day weekend, a safe one, and catch us on a live stream again this Thursday with another episode of ATB Saints. Thank you, and we'll see you guys next time.